To both of you. The result? You wake up ready for anything. Proven quality sleep is life-changing sleep. Save up to $1,000 on select Sleep Number 360 smart beds and adjustable bases, plus special financing, only for a limited time. Special financing subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Good morning from the traffic center. Got a wreck now, Holmes in Jordan. Got some southbound blockage, possible injury there. Rescue Road near Parker Road in Morgan County had an overturned vehicle. One person going to the hospital. They did have a momentary entrapment on that one. Got a dolly in the middle of the road, westbound 565 near County Line. The Somnodent from Dr. Sandman's, an easy-to-use oral device. No mask, no hose. Insurance accepted for sleep apnea and for snoring. 350-CARE or RandallSandlin.com. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
This is Brett Musburger's Action Update. Simple Green is perfect for making your auto, RV, cycling, boating, and other sporting equipment look like new. Visit them at simplegreen.com.
The Open starts today at Port St. George's. John Rahm sits atop the odds at plus 750 with Dustin Johnson and Brooks Koepka each at plus 1600. Behind him, Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, and Xander Schauffele each at plus 1800. Bryson DeChambeau at plus 2500. The opening ceremonies for the 32nd Olympic Games will be held a week from tomorrow. The USA, the odds-on favorite to win the most gold medals at minus 1,000. China at plus 600. Japan plus 2,200. And Great Britain and Russia each at plus 2,800. The NBA Finals now even at 2 games apiece. The Suns return home to host Game 5. They come in a 3.5-point favorite against the Bucks. The over-under 220.5.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Welcome to Talkin Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
And just like that, we're off and running with another brand new live edition of Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Happy Thursday morning, everyone. We appreciate you taking the time to joining us this morning, and we have got a lot of great stuff to get to. But as always, the show starts with you. 256-576-4977. That is the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. We want to hear from you on this Thursday. What do we have in store today? Round one of the 149th edition of the Open Championship has teed off from Royal St. George's. We'll run down the leaderboard here in just a minute. We know who's headed to Hoover next week from each school. And yes, Madison County will be represented at SEC Media Days. We'll let you know who is coming. The SEC normally brings 3 athletes from each school to Media Days. And just to tell you that, yes, we are having Media Days. Yes, 97.7 ESPN The Zone will be in Hoover next week, but it will not be the same. Normally, every school brings 3 athletes. This year, they are only bringing 2 because of COVID-19 restrictions. Yes, we still have to worry about that. Yes, we probably still are going to be hearing about it this college football season. And I say that because the Big 12 Media Days are ongoing in Arlington, Texas. The Big 12 Media Days this year, by the way, are being held inside Cowboy Stadium. They are doing it right there on the field at Cowboy Stadium. Great venue for Big 12 Media Days. They can spread it out. We're going to hear from Bob Bowlesby in just a little bit. We're going to hear from Lincoln Riley, Matt Campbell from Iowa State. But the Big 12 Media Days are being held in Arlington, Texas. And our good friend Ross Dellinger has got a hold of some information that make you feel uneasy about the college football season, may make you not. There's a note from Kansas State AD Gene Taylor that we'll go over. Some interesting news and notes developing, though, from the Big 12 Media Days. Bob Bowlesby had a poignant message yesterday when he addressed his opening remarks, and I'm wondering if Greg Sankey will do the same on that topic of COVID-19 topics when he addresses the media on Monday. There's a new highest paid assistant football coach in college football. Just how much? And he is making just as much as some head coaches in the Power 5 level. The Tennessee Titans will add 3 names to their Ring of Honor week 3 when they host the Indianapolis Colts. We'll let you know who will be in their Ring of Honor. But we start with college football. Yes, I know the Open Championship is ongoing. We have it on here. We'll go over some of the names atop the leaderboard here in just a second. But the Big 12 Media Days are ongoing in Arlington, Texas. They're doing it right there inside Cowboy Stadium. AD Gene Taylor from Kansas State said the Big 12 is not expected to allow teams to postpone or cancel games for any reason this season. He went on to say that if a team loses a bunch of guys to COVID and can't play, that team will have to forfeit their game. Now, in his opening remarks, Bob Bowlesby, the Big 12 commissioner, said, with camps 2 weeks away, the COVID variant threatens to bring more disruptions to the 2021 season because of the unvaccinated athletes. He says, we wish we could be done with it, but we're not. Going on to allude to that there could be some games that don't get played because of the COVID the COVID again, and here we are once again having to talk about it.
Stupidity once again. Get vaccinated. You've had plenty of time to get vaccinated. That's all you need to do. And that, now there's a variant. Now there'll be another variant in 3 months because Joe will put another one out, and then somebody else will, on the other side of the, let's just say it, the Democratic Party, they're going to put another variant out. There's always going to be some kind of BS going on. They're going to keep it going on and on and on and on and that's all there is. So deal with it and live your life. That's what it is. Get vaccinated. These schools have the money to do so. There is no excuse. Do it, get vaccinated, and play football. Stop trying to BS and pussyfoot around and do things like that. Get it done and play the games for these kids. The kids deserve to compete. You did it last year. Stop trying to act like it's still March of 2020 and get it done. There is no excuse.
Bowlesby saying yesterday that most schools in the Big 12 have about a 75% vaccination rate or
that's great.
Better.
Good. That's absolutely outstanding. So then there's no excuse for not playing the games. So stop trying to plant the seed that something bad's going to happen and focus on the good and focus on playing football and maybe finally tackling somebody so you can win a national championship as a conference.
Well, you bring up winning a championship at the
because
conference
you guys
level.
haven't won anything for a long, long time. So worry about getting better as a league and stop deflecting by talking about some stupid variant and talk about football because you're not very good at it.
Bob Bowlesby alluding to the fact that the Big 12 has not won a national championship in a while. Here is Bob
This
Bowlesby.
year we had a great year. We won 5 national championships, had another 5 teams playing for national championships playing in the finals, and so but you have to do it in football, and you have to do it in men's basketball and women's basketball, the sports that are high profile and that people really follow closely, and we're capable of that. These are good teams. Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State have exemplified what it takes to play at that level. But, Oklahoma beat Ohio State pretty handily at Columbus just a couple of years ago. So, it's a matter of good fortune sometimes. It's a matter of a few breaks here and there. I don't think we're light years from competing at that level. But we haven't played in the championship game, and we haven't won a national title in a while. And aspirationally, that's what we want to do.
Well,
I agree with them, though. They're not light years behind.
Well, they've been making the playoff every now and then with Oklahoma. They just haven't won a playoff game. because first of all, they think tackling is a disease, so they treat it about like a COVID-19 variant. But they got to get better. Oklahoma is improving under Alex Grinch. I'll give them that. That's what gives them a puncher's chance, because they've got a great offensive mind in Lincoln Riley. They've got a great quarterback in Spencer Rattler. They got great personnel, really, offensively. So outstanding offensive line year in and year out. Good running backs. They wide receivers. They don't lack for skill position talent at Oklahoma. So really, they've just lacked defensively, and it looks like they're getting better. Of course, that's when you hold it up against their league, because they didn't play. They only played basically one out-of-conference opponent last year, and some of those Big 12 teams, which Bob's not going to mention, threw up all over themselves the first week.
Iowa State.
Yeah, Iowa State did it,
but that loss to Louisiana.
State, to Arkansas State, I mean, they had a bad first week. Now, they recovered and stabilized, and still had a pretty decent year. He's right about that. And then he's talking about they got to win national championships in basketball. They did. Baylor.
That is true.
I mean, they were very impressive. So there's a lot of people right now that think the Big 12 is the best league in America, and when you got the defending national champion, you really can't argue with them. And they did it over an undefeated Gonzaga team, by 16 points or so. So kudos to Scott Drew and all those guys. And Jared Butler and Davian Mitchell and that whole group. So they did win a national championship there. Now, they lost one of the best basketball coaches in the country, and I'll be interested to see how that hurts Baylor women's basketball with Kim Mulkey going to LSU. So they've won some national championships in women's basketball in the very recent past. So they've done well there. It's just football, but again, like I said, stop worrying about variance and worry about blocking, tackling, and getting vaccinated and playing the game instead of always going to the worst-case scenario.
Freddie Kirby on Facebook Live saying you can't force these kids to get vaccinated for COVID just like the flu. Liberals pushing an agenda.
Well, look, how has it hurt you to get vaccinated? That's my point. I mean, just like most people every year get a flu vaccine if they can.
Right.
To try to keep yourself from getting sick.
We're going through this exact same thing, though, in our household right now. My son is getting ready to head west to go to school, and he has not gotten the COVID vaccination yet. His coach has strongly suggested that he gets the COVID vaccination. He doesn't know if he wants to get it, and he's 18. Part of me, as his father, should be saying, you need to get this, you need to do it. I am vaccinated. But part of me is also like, you have to leave it up to him to decide what to do. He's got to make his own choices. But his coach is telling him, hey, look, he's going out to Oregon. And we all know the West Coast is a little bit
different. And they're more stringent on it.
Yes. So we're leaving it up to him to make his choice.
If I were Landon, I just wouldn't want to get disrupted from the standpoint. If I'm competing, what if you're about to go either whether it be cross country or whether it be swimming.
Yes.
What if you're about to have a huge race, and all of a sudden they get you for contact tracing if you may not even have it, or you may come down with it and you have to sit out. I wouldn't want to do that personally. I would want to make sure that I had all my bases covered and there was no excuses. They were not going to take anything away from me, because as a college athlete, you work too hard.
That is true.
You work too hard, put in too much time to have it taken from you like that, in my opinion.
All right, let's go to Randy on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline joining us this morning. Good morning, Chief Tuscaloosa.
Good morning, fellas. How y'all?
Good, Randy. Good morning.
Yeah, I've been listening at y'all, Drew, holler his vaccination. You don't want it, trust me.
I already got it.
Well, you got poison.
Yeah.
You think it's poison?
I know it is.
Okay.
I know everybody that's took that second shot is sick right now. Badly sick.
Well, I've had both shots, and I had it months ago. So I mean,
I got a Pfizer vaccine, and
I didn't get sick from it.
I had a couple of days where you felt a little under the weather, but I felt fine since.
What people don't understand, these shots are not the shots that Trump had issued. These is what Biden and them put together. They ain't even been really tested.
Well, there's a lot of theories out there, and there's a lot of.
That's the truth. That's the truth, and I can get you the proof of it.
All right, Randy, what else is on your mind, buddy?
What's on your mind, brother?
I was wanting to talk a little basketball. Our basketball team's going to have a pretty good team, ain't they?
They should, yeah. I mean, I think Alabama's going to have a really, really good roster. We'll see if they can reel Jaden Shackelford back in. There's some rumors about him making a decision in the near future about where he's going to play college basketball in the next year, but we'll see.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, Drew. He's leaving, though, right?
We'll see. I mean, there's been a lot of rumors about perhaps a return. There was even a report yesterday, and again, I don't know how much I put into it, that the transfer portal that 24/7 Sports has did not have him in the portal anymore, but we will see. I mean, certainly Jaden Shackelford tweeted yesterday that he can't wait to hoop again, and so I'm sure he's going to make a decision about his future in the short order, because again, he has to get on a campus. He needs to start working towards said season because he's already withdrawn his name from the NBA draft.
Hey, didn't Alabama pick up a big star or something?
A big who now?
Yeah, didn't they pick up a high, like a 5-star or something like that?
Yeah, they did. They got J.D. Davidson, the Mr. Basketball from the state of Alabama, 2-time Mr. Basketball from Lettahatchee, Alabama. He's from Calhoun High School. He is on campus now.
Okay. It's just one other thing. I'll get up here.
Sure.
What's the football team doing?
They're getting ready for SEC Media Days. That'll be coming up this Monday in Hoover. Scott mentioned they've talked about. Yesterday they released. It's not going to be 3 players this year, as in the recent past. It's going to be just 2 representatives coming. And for Alabama, it's going to be junior receiver John Mechie and 5th-year senior defensive lineman Fedarian Mathis. They're going to make their way with Nick Saban to Hoover, and that will be Wednesday that Alabama meets the media. But as you also heard Scott talking about it, because the Big 12 had their beginning of their media days yesterday, it's only 2 weeks and really until fall camp.
Yep.
Fall camp beginning late July, very end of July, early August. So it's just right around the corner before practice starts.
And the ACC will have their media days concurrent with the SEC media days next week. So all the Big 3 will have theirs. I believe the Big 10 is right around there as well.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Hey, Drew, I'm going to disagree with a lot of them about the quarterback this time.
Right.
J.T. Daniels, I don't think he's going to be the one.
Well, I mean, Georgia better hope so, because they've only got young, inexperienced guys behind him, and certainly we'll see if he's elite. They think he is.
Well, we've heard Georgia every year make the brags about their team.
Oh, that's true. Very true, Randy.
They building him up real big, ain't they?
Yeah.
All right, Randy. Thanks for the call, brother.
Thank you, bud.
See y'all later.
All right, let's stay on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Richard with us on a Thursday morning. Good morning, Richard.
Morning, guys. How you doing, Drew?
Richard, how are you, sir?
Good. On the vaccine, on the SEC is, I think it's 85, and I guess every sport, but if 85% of the I don't know if it's players and coaches, but you reduce your testing, how many times you have to be tested. So, I would think at Alabama, you're talking about Scott, your son, but I would think, Nick Saban tells you to get the vaccine where they don't have to be tested. I don't know if I'd want to be on his bad side. So.
Well, and then it goes back to his son Landon. If I were Landon, that means I didn't have to be tested and get up at no telling what time and be tested all the time. I wouldn't want to be. I'd want to be vaccinated.
You look at the College World Series and take NC State, for instance. Had every one of those players along NC State had been vaccinated,
you don't get tested.
They would not have been tested. Yeah. NC State theoretically would have stayed in the College World Series. Now the NCAA and everything else kind of, bumbled all that up. But when it boils down to is every one of those players had been vaccinated, they would not have been tested.
Well, you got to think peer pressure. Just let's just say you got 2 or 3 other football player roommates, and they're having to get tested all the time because of you. I don't know if I would, want to be the one not vaccinated. Like I said, especially somewhere like Alabama where they take football a little more serious than, most places. But I know Alabama was close to being at 80, whatever. I don't know the exact. It was 85%, but I don't know, if that's walk-ons or what the definition of, what you were, taking the 85% of. I know back, a month or two ago, Alabama was, extremely close to getting 85%.
Yeah.
Of the players.
That's a good number.
But one thing too about people were talking about all these, football players dropping out of bowl games, but a lot of them were just tired of being tested. Mm-hmm. I mean, it wasn't to go pro. It's just, you've been doing it for 8 months or so. It was just, I'm, tired of going through testing. But like I said, if you can get to the 85%, you're going to save a lot of time and effort and, problem.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're absolutely right. Last season, I think the stress of going through the testing, and it wasn't just once a week they were tested. It was 3 times a week. Most of these athletes, most of these teams were getting tested and prodded and herded like cattle in there to get this taken care of, just so you can play, on top of trying to do school remotely, trying to go through practices, trying to go through everything, trying to stay quarantined, trying to do everything else. And it just became a lot. I mean, if it's a lot for us in our daily grind, just trying to go to work, imagine trying to do all that as a student athlete.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but like I said, I would think you would see, a lot of these teams, and I'm sure, you guys are going to media days, and I'm sure they'll talk about it next week. But like I said, I would assume most of these coaches are really pushing, everybody on the team to get vaccinated. And like I said, I would think their teammates are also.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I would agree, Richard, no doubt about it. And I know you're an avid basketball fan. You heard us just talking about Jaden Shackelford and this roller coaster ride everyone's been on. What are your thoughts on what we may hear out of him in the near future?
I mean, I would love to have him back, but it's really, you're really not getting much in the rumor mill out. I don't know who he talks to. I mean, I know he, a couple of the players. I talked to somebody, and I know back, they were thinking he was going to transfer, but this was 2 months ago when he did put his name in the transfer portal out after I talked to a friend of mine that knows a couple of the players, but I haven't heard anything. But I think personally, I think the kid wants to come back, and I think that may be one reason he's dragging it out. These other teams are all starting to fill up their roster to where they'll have 12 scholarship players, and almost by default, he may end up having to come back to Alabama, who's holding a spot for him.
Yeah, and I mean, I still think Richard, he fits best at Alabama due to his familiarity with Alabama's coaching staff, the 2 good years that he's put together. I mean, I just don't think he's a point guard no matter where he goes, and I think he should play to his strengths as a player. And I think with his and his experience would be valuable because as of right now, without Shackelford, Alabama's lost all 5 starters from a year ago.
All right, Richard.
Yeah, and I mean, see you guys later.
All right, yeah, thanks for the call, Richard. We got to get a break in because when we come back, Bill Shanks is going to join the show. We got to turn the conversation to baseball. The second half of the Major League season getting underway for the Atlanta Braves looks a lot different than it did from the beginning of the season. Bill Shanks can break it all down for us.
Yeah, they're going to be starting at home, 3-game series with the Tampa Bay Rays, a tough one, starting tomorrow.
All right, let's get to that break. Bill Shanks next.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Just got a wreck in Decatur, 6th Avenue at 14th Street, southbound blockage, but nobody hurt. Got one on 31 near the Calhoun campus on the north side of Decatur. Got Holmes and Jordan with some southbound blockage and an injury involved in that one. From routine care to heart failure, Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialists have the expertise to care for all matters of the heart. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Listen to the Tom Abraham Show.
And he loves fishing.
My wife said, she said, I will take the dog guy all day. She said, at least he's positive and makes me laugh. She said, this makes me just want to roll out of the car on I-4. And I said, well, I'll have to tell Tom that you were big on him, that you were requesting.
You tell Mrs. Brandon that's good. We'll put her on the list of females that like the show.
Listen to the Big Dog. Weekdays from 10 to noon on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hey, this is Justin with the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. We'd like to invite you to North Alabama's premier patio bar and grill, where at the factory, we have something going on each and every night. Monday night, steak night. Tuesday night, karaoke. Wednesday night, the Jeep community comes out for Jeep Jam. Thursday, it's bike night, the biggest in the valley. Friday and Saturday, live concerts on our 4,000-square-foot patio, along with drink specials and a beautiful staff. What are you waiting on? We will see you at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill.
At Bryant Bank, we believe your goals are worth chasing, and every step along the way is worth celebrating. From your hopes for the future to the challenges that keep you up at night, we're here for you. Bryant Bankers put care into action to help you live legendary by stepping up when you need us most and doing what's right, even when no one is watching. Come experience a local bank whose people greet you by name and treat you like family. Bryant Bank, member FDIC.
If you need a car, McCurry Motors is ready to put you in a quality vehicle, and in-house financing is available. If you have a job, McCurry Motors will work with you even if you have a bankruptcy, divorce, or bad credit. Visit McCurrySaysYes.com. Every car comes with a warranty, and they report to the credit bureau. With 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens, call 256-230-0232, or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville. Call 256-713-0575.
Problem. You want to get in shape, but packing a bag, getting gas, and driving to a gym is an expensive hassle. Solution? See Huntsville Fitness Equipment and build your own gym. That's right. Huntsville Fitness Equipment has commercial-grade equipment at home-grade prices. They'll deliver and set it up and save you up to $500 over the competition. And with brand names like Power Plate, Life Fitness, Hoist, and Bodycraft, you'll have quality equipment that lasts. Financing is available. Quality's guaranteed. Huntsville Fitness Equipment, 7540 South Memorial Parkway or fitnesszone.com.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Leaving his mark on sports talk radio with a paddle.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Join Wes Neighbors weekday afternoons on The Drive, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now more of Talkin Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on your home for Crimson Tide Sports, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Roll Tide.
All right, it is indeed 7:27 on a Thursday morning. It is Talking Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. We got a lot to get you ready for SEC Media Days, which gets underway on Monday, but the second half of the Major League Baseball season will take to the diamond today after the All-Star break. And there will be teams on the diamond starting today, but everybody else will get started for tomorrow as well. So a lot of baseball. I know there is games tonight and there'll be games tomorrow. So there's a lot of baseball that will be played. Atlanta Braves, though, a lot of question marks going into the second half of the season, and a lot of it because Ronald Acuna Jr. won't be there because of the ACL, but will anybody else not be there, or will they add anybody? A lot to answer.
Yeah, no doubt. And our next guest is with us. It's always great to catch up with him, and you can hear him 3 to 6 Eastern Time each and every Monday through Friday on the Bill Shanks Show. The Bill Shanks Show, one of the best in the Southeast. If you want to know about the Atlanta Braves, this is the guy to talk to, and the Atlanta Hawks. Covered them. He's been covering the Braves and watching them closely since 1978 in his younger days, but he certainly does an outstanding job covering the Braves, and we always enjoy picking his brain and getting his thoughts on it. And Bill is now with us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. The Superstations.com is in our market, is where you can listen to his show each and every day. Bill, it's great to have you back in Huntsville. How are you doing? You're with Drew and Scott.
Good morning. How are y'all?
We are good. I guess as fun as the Atlanta Hawks was to cover and the longest postseason run in their history, would it be safe to say that the Braves' first half was just as frustrating?
Well, it's just they've just never had a first part of the season like this. I have been watching them for a long time and covering them for a long time, and I've tried. I've gone back and looked even before I started covering them, and I was just a kid, watched them on television to see if there was anything that I could see that was any similar at all to what they've been through, and I can't find it. I just think it's a historic first half, if you will, first part of the season, as far as just one thing after another happening to this team with injuries and just different things that have been a negative. It's like you try to find a positive, and it's tough. So it's been a historic first half, in my opinion, and maybe if there's someone older than I am that can remember 1966 to 1977, that can say one of those teams had something like this happen. But I don't think it did, because a lot of those teams are not very good. This team was supposed to be very good, and just one thing after another has happened to make it obviously a very frustrating first part of the season. And yet they're 4 out of first place in a game under 500. You never know.
That's what I was going to say.
It's pretty amazing, actually.
The Mets haven't run away with the NL East. They're leading the NL East, but they haven't ran away with anything. If Freddie Freeman, Austin Riley, Ozzie Albies stay completely healthy, they don't miss any extended time along the way. I know Ronald Acuna Jr. is not going to be there, but as bad as the first half has been, as rough as the first half has been, what are the chances of them making a run then in the second half?
Well, the problem is the outfield. I mean, Marcell Azuna's not going to be back anytime soon, and he's going to be suspended as soon as he's deemed healthy, and I don't know when that's going to be. He's delaying that as long as he can because he wants to get paid, and as soon as he's suspended, he's not going to get paid. So he's going to delay that as long as he can. But the problem is, like what happened the other day with the outfield with the lineup. I mean, Brian Snicker probably has lost sleep the last couple of nights trying to think, all right, Friday when we have to play again, what the heck am I going to do about this outfield and the lineup? And it's just hard to imagine any type of run. And the other part of the problem is, I mean, they're scheduled to start this second part of the season. They start tomorrow with Tampa Bay with 3. That's a second-place team. They have San Diego for 3 in Atlanta starting on Monday. That's a third-place team. That's obviously one of the better teams in the National League. Then they have Philadelphia for 5 and for 4 rather, and then New York, the Mets for 5. The Phillies are the second-place team ahead of the Braves, and the Mets are the first-place team ahead of them. So. And those are the 4 teams they have leading up to the trade deadline on July 30th, and then when July 30th hits, the first place Milwaukee Brewers come to Atlanta. So they've got they've got 5 series here. They're going to be brutal, just brutal series against very good teams, and you have that along with the fact that what are you going to do for this outfield? I mean, center field's obviously been a mess all year long with Pache not working out, and you've had Heredia there, and Heredia's done a decent job, but he's they've got 4th outfilders out there. That's the problem with Abraham Almonte and Guillermo Heredia, 4th outfielders. Orlando Arcia was in AAA until 2 weeks ago. He's a shortstop playing the outfield. You've got Ender Inciarte, who is they're just have on the roster because they have to pay him. And it's that lineup. That's the problem. If Acuna had not gotten hurt, then this is a different conversation. But it's just so tough to be realistic about. All right, how do you do this, and how do you have a run without Acuna? And it's going to be tough.
It really is. We're talking to Bill Shanks, host of the Bill Shanks Show on thesuperstations.com, 3 to 7 Eastern Time each and every Monday through Friday. As we said, if you want to know about the Atlanta Braves, this is the guy to talk to. Bill, how with Alex Anthopoulos, I know you speak with him. You know the organization very well. How long are they going to give this out of this All-Star break with this brutal schedule you talked about by the end of July to decide whether they're buyers or sellers in your mind?
Well, in a way, Drew, it's a blessing in disguise. They do have the schedule because it's almost like, all right, prove it. Prove that you deserve to have something happen here before July 30th. Now, I think you can't do it right now. It's like Alex Anthopoulos can't make a trade right now either way. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. If there's a player out there that's available that is also that's not a rental, but someone who can help this team pass this year, then okay, sure, you make the deal. Especially someone who could help in 2022. But as far as selling, you can't do that to these players yet. I mean, look, these players have been through a hellacious first part of the season. And so you can't pull the plug yet. They are only 4 games out. You owe it to them to give them the 2 weeks to at least see what they can do. But, if the logic dictates what's going to happen and they struggle against these very good teams because the lineup is tough, then I think, the question is, all right, on July 27th, if, they're playing the Mets that those last few days before the trade deadline, and if they have fallen to 7 or 8 back or something like that from the 4 they're at right now, and teams start calling about Charlie Morton, what do you do? And they're not going to trade Freddie, so I know that's going to be your next question. So let's.
Oh no, I would give up as a Braves fan, Bill, if that happened.
Well, it's just not going to happen. I mean, I don't care if they don't sign him.
Yeah.
After this year, they're not going to trade Freddie Freeman. They cannot do that. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, if they're going to lose him, they can't just lose him for nothing. But you can't trade Freddie Freeman. They're not going to. I mean, it would be the most shocking thing that's ever happened ever if they did that, and they're not. It's not going to happen. But to me, the real and look, I don't want to give up. I don't want to be negative, but I'm realistic. I mean, again, boys, this lineup is just awful. I mean, my gosh, it was already. I was saying last week before Acuna's injury, they got 9 spots in this lineup, and 4.5 of them are worth a flip. Let's be honest. They had the 3 All-Stars: Acuna, Ozzie, and Freddie, Riley, and then half the time Dansby Swanson. That's 4.5 out of 9 that you could really count on. The catcher position is a mess, without d'Arnaud. The outfield obviously is a mess, and now you got 3.5, right? So it's just a problem. So I don't know how they're going to do this. I just don't. I mean, it would be a miracle if in 2 weeks you have me on the day before the trade deadline on July 29th and they're 4 back or closer. They ought to erect a statue for Brian Snitker. I mean, I just don't know how this is going to happen. So, but to me, here's the thing: if in 2 weeks on July 29th, the day before the trade deadline, they are more than 4 out, and it just looks like it's just not realistic, then teams are going to call about Charlie Morton. Charlie Morton is a pitcher that could pitch in a World Series for someone.
Right.
And I mean, that's why the Braves got him. And I mean, there's just not many pitchers out there that are going to be available for trade that you could tell a team, all right, you're going to trade for this guy, but he's going to pitch Game 2 for you in the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
And that could bring a tremendous return back to the Atlanta Braves if they're out of contention. So that's what's going to be very interesting to watch over the next 2 weeks.
The All-Star Game did provide national media a chance to come in, ask a lot of questions, and, of course, Freddie Freeman was asked, and you brought up Freddie's name, asked extensively during the All-Star break about his contract situation with Atlanta.
Well, and he continues to say what he said, and that is that he wants to be a Brave for life. He never wants to leave. He's kind of painting himself into a corner there. His agent's probably telling him to shut up. But he's telling the truth. He does not want to leave Atlanta. I believe that. He tried to squash some of the talk about that I've had about, well, he's just going to go to California if he doesn't get an offer from the Braves. He's trying to do everything he can to paint the Braves into a corner to let them know that he does want to stay here. And look, I think it's I don't care if it's analytical. I don't care if it's financial. I don't care if it's, well, he's going to be 32, he's going to be too old to give him a 7-year contract. You got to get it done. You just got to get it done. And I know there are limits. And, you know, look, if he wants a 8-year deal for $30 million a year, I mean, okay, yeah, you're going to try to balk at that. I get that. You don't want it to be Albert Pujols and him to be 41 and, you know, struggling. But you just can't let this guy go. He's too good right now. He's too important to this organization. And, you know, they're going to have they're going to be expected to bounce right back next year. And whether they like it or not, the expectations are going to be you got to bounce right back if they don't do anything special this year. And if you do that without Freddie Freeman, good luck.
Yeah,
and this fan base is going to say, forget about it.
Yeah, very well said, Bill. And then what about the pitching staff, at least the long-term future? You know, I had some debates on this several days ago on Twitter about Soroka. I believe, I know there have been talks about a second, you know, now that he's had to re-injure his Achilles, that it might be detrimental to the rest of his career. I still think he's young enough to recover from this. Certainly it's not ideal. You've got Max Fried, you've got Ian Anderson, you've got some pieces. You know, I don't think Anthopoulos, you know, handled the bullpen correctly, but long term, what are your thoughts on this pitching staff for Atlanta, at least going forward into 22?
Well, we've got to see what Ian Anderson's situation is with his shoulder. We haven't heard about that, so we'll have to see if he's going to be, you know, on the shelf here for a while. I don't worry about Ian long term. I think Ian's going to be a great major league pitcher for a long time. I don't worry about Max. I think Max is a top of the rotation starting pitcher. I hope they'll get him under contract for a longer term here this winter. And I look, I love Mike Soroka. He's a great young man, and it's been awful what he's had to deal with injuries after being really injury-free in his minor league career. He's just had one thing after another happen, which has not been good. And he's going to have to shake that at some point where he's no longer an injury-plagued pitcher. He's someone who can stick and stay. He's just not been able to do that yet. Stuff-wise, talent-wise, it's there. He's just got to be healthy. So, you know, we can't expect him back until this time next year.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But you've got Max, you've got Ian Anderson. We've got to hope at the second part of the season, Huascar Noah comes back and shows us what he showed us before. I think if he does that, we're going to feel good about him being part of the 2022 rotation. I think Kyle Muller, who pitched last night for AAA and did well in 4 innings, is going to come back and be the 5th starter, maybe the 4th starter if Ian's hurt. And Kyle has looked very good, obviously, in his 4 starts, 4 appearances in the big leagues here. Drew, if they did trade Charlie Morton and or Drew Smiley, we may see more of Kyle Wright, y'all's boy there from Huntsville, and Bryce Wilson in the last part of the season. I think that would be a good thing. So I think that would be good for them to show, again, kind of a last thing. Let's see what you can do now. Prove it to us. So, I mean, I still feel good overall about the rotation. I'm excited about Kyle Muller for the rest of the year. And again, Enoa would be really, really good to see come back, maybe, for the final 6 weeks of the season.
My final question for you, Bill. Do you think we see down the stretch, especially if they're not in contention, will they give extended looks to Pache and Waters maybe down the stretch?
Well, I think it's possible. I mean, they got to feel like those kids are ready, even if the opportunity's there, obviously, with the holes in the outfield. They don't want these guys to come up and to struggle.
Right.
They've been doing a little bit better as of late, so that's something to watch. But I think it's probable that, yeah, we'll probably see them up at some point. And, it's worth giving them a look-see. I mean, obviously, the losing last year hurt those 2 kids. We know that. That's probably part of why Pache has struggled because he just, they didn't play. I mean, if they had played all of last year, full minor league season, and nothing had happened, we would be disappointed if Waters and Pache were not ready by now. But obviously they did, so that's part of the story. But yeah, I think we'll probably see them at some point, and hopefully they'll continue to play well in AAA and prove to the front office that they are in fact worthy of a promotion and a look-see for the rest of the year, especially considering the fact that obviously there are holes in the outfield.
No question. Well, great knowledge as always when it comes to the Atlanta Braves. Bill Shanks, the Bill Shanks Show, 3 to 7, thesuperstations.com in Middle Georgia. Great program there. And, of course, we always enjoy our time with Bill. Bill, thank you so much I know we're getting us into your busy schedule. This time of year for you is very busy. I know the Braves are about to get cranked back up tomorrow at home against Tampa, 3-game series. But we always appreciate the conversation. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Drew. Anytime. Thank you.
All right, Bill Shanks, good stuff there on the Atlanta Braves. Let's get our break in. When we come back, we'll recap the conversation, plus open the phone lines back up to you.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
As the Braves continue to battle for the East, we're bringing you every game and every epic moment of this crazy season.
Offering on the way, that is smoked. Deep right field, sailing way back towards the seats, and that is gone.
Tomorrow night, the Braves are back from the break, and Truist Park comes alive for a big interleague battle with the Tampa Bay Rays in Atlanta. Braves Radio's on the air at 6:05 Eastern, 5:05 Central on the Braves Radio Network.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
With an impressive roster of explosive young superstars and the reigning MVP, the Atlanta Braves are showing the East what they're made of.
1-1 on the way. He connects it. It's a high fly ball to deep right field, way back towards the seats, and this ball is gone!
Your new home of the Atlanta Braves.
Hit high in the air to deep right center field. We are tied!
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner of University Kia, here letting you know we are proud supporters of Madison Academy football. And a quick shout out to my son, Avery Seaton, number 19. Stop into University Kia today and shop our large selection of new Kias, including our all-new Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the stylish new K5, and the sporty new Seltos. Visit universitykia.com to view all our great offers and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia today, because we want to see you in the Kia. Go Mustangs!
Our last reported wreck was in Decatur, 6th Avenue and 14th. No injury, should move quickly. Had one on 31 near Calhoun, north of the 3120Y. That one came in as a no injury. Holmes and Jordan, southbound blockage with an injury, may still be working on it. Snelling needs a warehouse associate, a receptionist, and an inside sales rep. All for Decatur. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
This segment of Talkin Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
All right, 7:48 on a Thursday morning. The 149th edition of the Open Championship going on across the pond And right now, Jordan Spieth and Louis Oosthuizen leading at 5 under.
Oh, yeah, my boy Louis Oosthuizen.
Jordan has just completed. He's through 16. Louis is through 14. Brian Harmon, Mackenzie Hughes are one back at 4 under. And then there is a slew of golfers at 3 under, including Huntsville native Stuart Sink. He is through 13 holes, and he is 3 under.
That's neat.
On the day. This is the
Florence
major.
native Stuart Sink and Georgia Tech grad.
Born here in Huntsville, though.
Yep. There you go.
This is his only major that he won, was the Open Championship a few years ago.
See him playing.
Yep. And so Stuart Sink right there in the mix after round 1. Let's go out to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Shane Sean with us on a Thursday morning.
What up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Doing
well,
good.
sir.
All right. First off, I want to say that I think you and Scott know that I made it very well clear that I respect the crap out of both of y'all, unlike your colleague Jeff from the borough.
We appreciate that. That's saying something.
No, it really is. Trust me. But this vaccine thing that y'all are talking about, tell me this.
Yeah.
What I mean, from your knowledge of what you know about it, not what anybody else or what I know, what is the benefit of the vaccine?
Not being tested. If you're an athlete, you don't have to be tested.
Why would you not be tested when it does not? The vaccine is not to keep you from contracting the virus.
Yeah. Well, that is. There are a lot of things that I don't understand about it, but
like I said, I mean, to be perfectly clear, I'm not knocking y'all for saying what you're saying. That's your opinion. I mean, you have every right to it.
If I'm an athlete and they're telling me that if I get the vaccination, I don't have to go through the rigors of being tested every day.
I'm all
then
for it.
I'm all for it. And I got it here. I mean, I got it simply because I don't have to wear I got it because I didn't have to wear a mask or I didn't have to do all that anymore. So that was a big reason as to why I didn't want to have to go through all that stuff anymore. Yes.
Yep.
That's why I wanted to call you and ask you what y'all's opinion was, because I mean I can understand it from that point, but why do you not have to be tested, and why do you not have to wear the mask if you can still contract the virus? I know that the vaccine is designed to reduce the symptoms of the virus, but does if you contract it and you pass it on to somebody else that has not had the vaccine, does it reduce catching it from you? Does it reduce their symptoms?
Now that I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
My only focus as an athlete would be to control what I can control, and if I get vaccinated, I don't have to get tested, and then I get a chance to compete each and every week and live a normal life, not have to get up every day and have a swab stuck up my nose and be disrupted and things of that nature. So I would be all for it.
And like I said, that's the reason why I called to ask you what y'all's opinion of it was, because I know some people are just, flat out. I'm against taking it. I'm not going to take it, but that I don't disrespect anybody that has the opposite opinion of me, because that's their opinion.
Right. No, that is true. And we talk about it on the athlete side, on the school side. If the NCAA says, okay, if you have it, you don't have to get tested. I wonder what's going to happen on the business side. I'm wondering 6 months from now, is businesses or employers going to say, if you have it, then you don't have to get tested again. It may already be there. I don't know. I don't know if they can do that. I don't know. But I'm wondering if the NCAA is saying this. I'm wondering if in real life, if employers are going to put the same thing out there.
Well, I mean, in all reality, they can do that, because even now they can say, well, if you're not vaccinated, you can't work for this company. So I'm sure they could say, if you got it, you don't have to be tested again, surely.
Yep. All right.
But like I said, I didn't call to argue with you like somebody does every day.
Yes, we appreciate that.
And like I said, I respect the crap out of y'all for your knowledge of the game that I love. But I can't see the very, very big beneficial picture of taking it yet. The FDA just put out its first warning against it last week.
Yeah, I think they did something with the Johnson & Johnson one. I think I saw something on that, yes.
Like I said, I don't care enough that I didn't even take the time to read it because I don't care. But I still don't understand it. I can't wrap my head around it. I mean, I've never even taken a flu vaccine in my life.
Well, it's a choice. I've taken a flu vaccine a few times.
It is.
Yep.
It is.
Had
and
no issues.
My dad never had the flu a day in his life at the age of 53, and he took the flu vaccine and ended up with the flu that year for the first time in his life. So, I mean, that's the only reason why I don't.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Shane Sean, thanks for the call.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, it's an interesting conversation, 256-576-4977. That is the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And like we were talking about earlier, Ross Dellinger from Sports Illustrated kind of indulging a little bit on Bob Bowlesby's comments from the Big 12 Media Day, his opening comments, that it was a pointed plea to players to get the vaccination, to get vaccinated before the season, because this year that the Big 12 is saying that if a game is postponed or canceled for any reason, COVID related, and if they don't have enough players to play this year, instead of trying to reschedule the game or move it, it'll be counted as a forfeit in the Big 12. So I imagine Greg Sankey will say something on COVID, getting vaccinated. I imagine that'll be part of his State of the State speech for the SEC on Monday. I imagine. I don't think it's going to be a huge part of it. I imagine he will address it along with name, image, and likeness at several circumstances when he does that State of the State of the SEC on Monday.
Which is always what he does at noon to kick off SEC Media Days each and every year.
All right, so who is coming to SEC Media Days as far as Alabama, Auburn, and the rest of the SEC? You mentioned Fedarian Mathis and John Mechie from Alabama.
Yep.
Bo Nix and Owen Pappoe will be there from Auburn. So we'll get to pick Bo Nix's brain.
Yep, two juniors for Auburn. Pappoe, a huge part of it at linebacker, 2-year starter. Same with Bo Nix, played a lot of football, and that's going to be your representatives in Brian Harson's first year.
You'll get to talk to Derek Stingley Jr.
Yeah, I'm gonna,
the best DB in the SEC.
Are you glad that Six is no longer in the SEC so he doesn't give you nightmares? I mean, your daddy is gone.
I want you to ask him that exact question next week in those words. Matt Corral from Ole Miss will be there. Jalen Jones will be there from Ole Miss. And good news, Madison County will be represented. Davion Davis from Vanderbilt. James Clemens Jet will be in Hoover.
Yeah, defensive lineman's had a good career over there. He's going to be there in Clark Lee's first year. So good to see Davion. Hopefully we'll get a chance to speak to him as he will represent the Commodores.
You look around the rest of the SEC. Now, it is interesting. Mississippi State brought in Austin Williams and Aaron Bruley. Arkansas will bring Myron Cunningham and Grant Morgan. Georgia, JT Daniels and Jordan Davis. We will get to see JT Daniels.
Yes, we will. The top returning quarterback in the SEC, Heisman candidate. Can he live up to the billing for the Georgia Bulldogs? He has to be elite for them to win a championship.
All right, we'll break all that down and more. We've got more college football talk to get to. We'll update you on the Open Championship. The Tennessee Titans have a Ring of Honor. Who's the highest paid coaching assistant? We've got a lot of stuff to get to in hour number 2 of Talking Ball. Plus, John Shulman's on his 4th drink right about now. He'll join us at 8:25.
Drinking coffee straight from the pot. Power move. Wearing a bathrobe to work. Power move. Switching to super fast, extra reliable internet from WOW. Power move. Switch and save with WOW Internet for just $19.99 a month. It's switching season, so make a move with our best deal of the year. Get the speed you need starting with Internet 100 for just $19.99 a month. Plus, ask how to get $200 on us. Sign up at wowway.com today. Wow. Limited to new customers with auto pay and paperless billing. Offer subject to change. Restrictions and terms apply.
Hey Zone listeners, Jonathan Dunwoody here from Minuteman Press. For years you've heard me talk about our services. Well, now is the time to promote your business through a vehicle wrap. It's much more affordable than you might think. From graphic design to install, we're here to help promote your business. You can be a rolling billboard for your company. For years you've heard me talk about our services, and all it takes is one call, 256-859-6161. Minuteman Press is located on Sparkman Drive next to the Super Walmart. We are designed to promote you.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Good morning from the traffic center. Haven't picked up anything new accident-wise. Should be clearing 6th Avenue and 14th in Decatur, 31 near Calhoun College. And Holmes and Jordan had some southbound blockage with an injury, but it should be about ready to move. Popeye's 3-piece snack is only $4.99. Get 3 pieces of that crispy tender chicken and a buttermilk biscuit at Popeye's, University and Jordan, 72 and Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
From the WZDX Pinpoint Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A fair mix of sunshine and cloud cover for your Thursday. An isolated shower is going to be possible, but I'm pretty confident most of us probably going to end up staying dry. It's not going to be a bad day. It's just going to be a humid afternoon across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. A couple of isolated locations could actually see the lower 90s. Better opportunities for rain creep back into the Tennessee Valley by the time we get to Friday and the weekend. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brett Musburger's Action Update. Simple Green is perfect for making your auto, RV, cycling, boating, and other sporting equipment look like new. Visit them at simplegreen.com.
The NBA Finals now even at 2 games apiece. The Suns return home to host Game 5. They come in a 3.5-point favorite against the Bucks. The over-under 220.5. The Open starts today at Port St. George's. John Rahm sits atop the odds at plus 750 with Dustin Johnson and Brooks Koepka each at plus 1,600. Behind him, Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, and Xander Schauffele each at plus 1,800. Bryson DeChambeau at plus 2,500. The opening ceremonies for the 32nd Olympic Games will be held a week from tomorrow. The USA, the odds-on favorite to win the most gold medals at minus 1,000. China at plus 600, Japan plus 2,200, and Great Britain and Russia each at plus 2,800.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Welcome to Talkin Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
It is hour 2 of Talking Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, and we start hour number 2 with an update on the leaderboard from the 149th Open Championship at Royal St. George's, because Stewart Cink is at 4 under, making a charge. He was 3 under before we finished hour number 1, and as we start hour number 2, he is at 4 under through 14. Jordan Spieth and your boy Louie.
There he is.
Louie.
He's
at 5 under. Those are your leaders at 5 under. 3 golfers at 4. Brian Harmon, Mackenzie Hughes, and Stewart Cink. We talk about how the Americans don't have anybody when it comes to men's tennis, that when you watch a Grand Slam on the men's tennis side, it's very hard to find an American near the top. It's not that way when you watch golf, because right now in the top 6, Jordan Spieth, Brian Harmon, and Stewart Cink are all there. So the Americans showing off right now in round 1 of the Open Championship. We've got it on. Drew, a little windy from Royal St. George. It's a little windy out there, but it is weather condition-wise very good for play, I would imagine.
Well, for
I'd
the first
imagine.
day, yeah. We'll see if it continues because it can get a little crazy. The rough's always interesting over across the pond. So, but great for Stewart Cink. Not surprised with Louis Oosthuizen. This is the one major he has won, and so he's trying to win another. He nearly won the U.S. Open, but we know John Rahm won that. So, again, great for Stewart Cink, a guy born here in Huntsville, Florence native, and someone that went to Georgia Tech. And as you said, the major that he has won also was this one, and that's why he's there this week. So good for Stewart so far.
All right, so we mentioned before the break there's a new highest-paid college football assistant in America. I guess you could say it's by default, but he did get a little bit of a raise. Remember, Steve Sarkisian and Kevin Steele last year topped the list.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Steve Sarkisian went to Texas, and Kevin Steele can't find an interim job at this point because there's no more to have.
Well, he's off the payroll at Tennessee. Made a lot of money in just a few short weeks.
Right, both made $2.5 million
He's
though
probably
last
still
year.
getting checks from Auburn too, by the way, because the contract was guaranteed.
He probably is.
Yellowwood, you know what I'm saying?
But this year, Brent Venables will take the honor as the highest-paid college football assistant in America, $2.4 million for Brent Venables. And once again, you have an assistant coach, $2.4 million. That is more than some Power 5 coaches, definitely more than a lot of Group of 5 coaches that make as far as your yearly salary goes.
Yeah, I mean, no question about it. He's done an outstanding job, one of the best DCs in America. He's won 3 national championships. He's won 2 at Clemson and 1 at Oklahoma. So, and he was a big part of Bill Snyder's program, too, at Kansas State as a player and coach. So Brent Venables has the pelts on the wall as an assistant. Will he ever take that jump to be a head coach? We don't know. I mean, he certainly pursued some jobs, but he doesn't actively pursue a lot of them. I think he enjoys being a DC, and it's perfect for Dabo Swinney because he hired him from Oklahoma. And in some ways, you could say Oklahoma may have never recovered because, you know, they haven't tackled anybody in a long, long time. Because if they had, they would have won a national championship since the year 2000 with the offenses that they've had. Their defenses have been atrocious. Let's not get it twisted in any form or fashion.
They've had two shots in the playoffs, once against Alabama and once against Georgia.
Yeah, and they had a big lead at halftime against Georgia and threw up all over themselves. And so I'm just saying they have not been able to tackle. Grinch looks like he's finally, starting to solve the puzzle.
Right.
And they improved a lot last year, but let's understand that was against other Big 12 teams. Let's see what they can do outside against somebody with a pulse.
I have not looked at Oklahoma's schedule this year to see who they have as far as non-conference games go, to see if they will even be tested. Lots of times Oklahoma.
Well, they struggled with COVID at the beginning of last year.
Wow.
I mean,
it's not that impressive. They open up with Tulane.
Yeah, and I mean, if you remember, they started off so slow. I want to say they were 0-2.
They were.
I mean, they basically took themselves out of the national race early before they started figuring things out.
They open up with Tulane in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Then they have Western Carolina, Nebraska, West Virginia, Kansas State, Texas, TCU, Kansas, Texas Tech, Baylor, Iowa State, and then, of course, the Bedlam.
Well,
Oklahoma
I'm really
State.
happy that they're playing Nebraska. We've talked about that. They were unhappy with the kickoff time, but that's a long-time rival. Now, we know Nebraska has not been Nebraska, but It's still really cool to see them playing each other again because these two schools used to be the biggest rivals on each other's schedule. No question about it in the old Big 8 days.
3 of their first 4 games are in Norman, Oklahoma.
Right.
Western Carolina, Nebraska, West Virginia. They open up again on the road at New Orleans. So you would imagine Oklahoma, if they can tackle and if their offense is as good as advertised with Spencer Rattler,
should be 4-0,
5-0, probably 5-0 as you go in to the Red River Shootout with Texas on October. And then you follow that up with TCU, Kansas, Texas Tech, Baylor, Iowa State, and Oklahoma State. So that is the schedule for one Oklahoma. And speaking of Oklahoma, Lincoln Riley yesterday talking at the Big 12 Media Days. Drew, talking just about what you were talking about, and that is defense.
The expectations were very high to begin with. I mean, Oklahoma's a place when we began the search for a new defensive coordinator, it's a place you feel like you can go out and have a chance to hire just about anybody in the country. One of the great advantages of being able to work at a program like this. And, Alex quickly separated himself for us during that process because of what we believed that this could be. And our visions were so much in line, it was almost scary for not really knowing each other that well prior to. And the progression's been great. We were, much improved year one. We took a big step year two, and our plan is to take another big step here.
That's what they need to do. I mean, if they do that, they got a chance to win it all, or at least reach the national championship game and win a college football playoff game, which a Big 12 team hasn't done.
What are the chances? Are the chances greater that the Big 12 wins a national championship game this year, or somebody other than the ACC or SEC wins one?
I mean, the chances are still SEC until proven otherwise. I'm not betting on the Big 12.
So would you put the SEC as a favorite to win a national title again over anybody else?
Yeah.
Ohio State doesn't creep in there as potential.
Got a new QB. We'll see. We don't know.
Right.
I mean, they've Ohio State's going to be very talented as always, but you've got to understand they got to the playoff the last 2 years, but after winning it in 2014, they struggled to get back to the playoff for a few years. So we'll see how good they are. They're going through a quarterback transition. We don't know. We haven't seen C.J. Stroud yet. He was heavily recruited. Very talented. Even with the loss of Jamison Williams, they're bringing in some outstanding young receivers. They've got some great receivers back, and so they should be, and of course the running back room should be talented. So Ohio State's going to have the talent. I would still favor them heavily in the Big Ten. See, people don't want to hear this, but it's the same deal. I don't care if you expand the playoff. To me, if we're going into the year, I'm still thinking Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, and probably Oklahoma. That's the top four, okay? Now, there might be another one from the SEC like a Georgia. I mean, they've crowned themselves in July and August again, but they're very talented. And so they're capable, if they beat Alabama, which would mean hell was freezing over. But if they did that in the SEC championship game, then they're going to be in. They're going to be in the playoff. They're going to have a chance to win a national championship. That's just a fact. And I will say, the SEC is a little down on paper going into this year. I do think Alabama and Georgia are far and away the two best teams.
Right.
Because I'm not buying the College Station crap. Okay.
Not at all. Not buying Texas A&M at all.
They're not. I mean, they're talented. But,
right.
They've got to beat LSU. They've got to beat Alabama. They've got to actually win the SEC championship game. I mean, they're on the right track. They've improved every year under Jimbo in his first 3 seasons. But, again, I'm not ready to say, that they're an it program. I'm just not. I think, that they're getting there, but they've still got some mountains to climb. And then LSU, they're polarizing. They've always talented. I mean, Ed Ogeron's recruited well, but you've got all the off-field strife, and then you've got the coaching staff being revamped. How good is LSU? We won't know until early on.
What is the percentage that you would put the Big 12 getting a playoff berth this year? Do you think
I'd say there's a very high...
not Big 12, the Pac-12. I want to go Pac-12. Do you think the Pac-12 has any chance of getting into the playoffs? Any chance of getting into the playoffs?
No.
Zero.
I don't. They defense to them is even. It's like a COVID variant. They're not in favor of it.
Okay.
So Oregon may be pretty good under Mario Cristobal, But I don't know how good USC is going to be under Clay Helton. They're certainly going to have some young talent. They've got Slovis. He'll be going into his third year as a starter. They're going to be talented, but I don't know that they're going to be good enough on defense to be a playoff contender. And then the rest of them, I mean, look at you. We'll find out how good UCLA is. Look, they host LSU first game, man. So let's see how much progress Chip Kelly should have made by now. So we'll see. But I'm and Kyle Whittingham's always underrated at Utah. But then when Utah, remember in years past, Scott,
right,
when they were getting all this buzz, they're a fly in the ointment. They're gonna sneak into the playoff. They're gonna do that. They'd fall flat at the end of the year and get just hammered by somebody that you wouldn't even be looking at. And so like a Cal Berkeley or someone like that. Stanford, they've taken steps back under David Shaw. I'm not really buying that they're going to be elite. So I would say no. I'd still say with Oklahoma coming out of the Big 12, I would give Iowa State a better shot of making the playoff than anyone from the Pac-12.
I went through just in the last 2 years just to compare, because you mentioned Texas A&M needing to take that leap to be considered an IT program. In the last 2 years, between Florida and Texas A&M, because we like to think that Florida is there, possibly under Dan Mullen. Texas A&M under the last 2 years with Jimbo Fisher, 17-6. Florida 19-6.
Yeah,
So almost
but Florida
identical.
Has more questions than A&M even because Todd Grantham, I'm not really convinced that he's not past his prime and needing to bounce. So I don't know how good Florida's defense is going to be.
Really? There was a topic the other day on defensive coordinator. We talked defense the other day. Yeah. We asked about who's going to have the who's going to lead the league this year in defense, who's going to be near the bottom. Where would you try to? I mean, if you were looking at it now, if Todd Grantham coming in there, where would you put that Florida defense? What the expectations are for this Florida defense going in then to the fall?
Well, I would put Kentucky's defense ahead of Florida's. On
really?
Paper. Yeah, I mean, I think they've had.
Wow.
I think they've had coaching staff continuity. I think they have talent. Now, Florida, if they go out and prove it, I can change my mind. But
right.
They just were really bad on the back end. Now, they made coaching changes, but you talk to Florida guys that cover that team and, that know the program, and they're not convinced about Grantham anymore either. They're nervous about it. They don't know what to think. I don't know how good their front seven's going to be. I mean, Grantham has, in the past, he's worked at Mississippi State with Mullen. He worked at Georgia with Mark Richt. He's been around the SEC. He was in Bobby Petrino at Louisville. I mean, he's had good defenses. And he's from the Saban tree, really, Saban and Belichick. But I just don't know how good they're going to be defensively. Now, I expect them to they're still going to move the football and score because Dan Mullen's a great offensive mind. He even when he had quarterbacks like Nick Fitzgerald who weren't great passers, they still were, could run the football and win games and be, a pain in the ass to play against. So I think Emory Jones has a chance to be a pretty good QB. I'm going to be interested to see how much progress he's made as a passer. He's definitely a good runner, and Mullen has always liked dual threat QBs. So I'm anxious to see if there's more of that threat at Florida, but he's had 3 good years with the Gators. They've won double-digit games. I still think, even with their defense being a question, if he can fill some of these holes offensively like I think he can, that Florida can still be the number 2 team in a weak East. But I think right now, if you had to ask me, I even think Missouri is dangerous to Florida right now because of Connor Bazelak, and then I think their defense is a little bit better than people think. But again, after the top 4, talking about Kentucky, Missouri, Florida, I think there's a gap. I think there's a gulf right now between Georgia and the rest of the division. And then I think when you go from Missouri to the last 3, it's like a canyon. I really don't think South Carolina's that talented. Tennessee has lost so much talent to the coaching transition and the transfer portal. And then you look at Vandy, no. So I just think right now the East is rather weak, though I still think the SEC, because of the West being the toughest. I'll say this. You put Arkansas and you flip them to the East, they'd be a top 4 team in the East. There's no doubt about that. They'd probably be better than Missouri, and they'd be up there with a chance to be in that. And even Kentucky. You know, I think they would have a chance to definitely almost to be in the top 3 in the East. I think that's how good the West is.
All right. 256-576-4977. That is the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. You can get in on the show this morning. Got a few more minutes before we bring in our final guest of the morning. One quick college football note. Nebraska has hired a new athletic director, Trev Alberts.
From the University of Nebraska, Omaha, I think the last 12 years.
Yep. And he was on ESPN at one time, did a lot of college football
really
for
enjoyed
ESPN.
him as an analyst.
He is now the new athletic director there at Nebraska. So Nebraska turning to a former Cornhusker, All-American Cornhusker, to try to turn around that program, because obviously what Scott Frost has tried to do, maybe he needs a little more time, but Scott Frost has not been able to get Nebraska back to any sort of relevance. Neither has Fred Hoiberg on the hardwood. And I think Fred's going into his second or third season there at Nebraska. So
I think third, yeah.
He has not been able to do it. So we'll see if Trev Alberts can get Nebraska back to any sort of prominence. One of these programs that probably thinks right now they should be in the college football playoffs, but nowhere even near it. Nowhere even close. Kind of like a Michigan, kind of like a Nebraska. We can look around, and there's other programs, Texas, teams that have these expectations of wanting to get into the playoffs, feeling like they should be there every year, and they need to learn again to crawl before that they can walk.
Mm-hmm. No question about that.
All right, 8:20. We got a leader now, a solo leader. It's your boy. It's your boy.
Who's Theisen?
He's leading at 6 under.
That's my guy, man.
Jordan Spieth at 5 under.
Because I just like saying who's Theisen, but I do think he's a really good player. Because when I first saw his last name years ago, I was like, how the hell do you pronounce that?
Better question is, how do you spell it?
Oh, well, don't even ask that. Oh, Lord.
Oh. See, if we didn't have Google, that would be a great contest, because now you can just Google it and you can find it and you can do it. But in case you're wondering, it's Oosthuizen. That's how you get it done. I guess what? I know how to spell our final guest's last name. It's very, very simple.
And he's raring to go. We don't know how many Diet Mountain Dews or Diet Dr. Peppers that he's had to drink earlier.
Well, it's summer camp time.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if he just chills a little bit and just kind of mellows out
I don't
a
know
little.
that our next guest, John Shulman, ever mellows. I think he's always on edge a little bit.
We'll ask him if he's on edge during the summer or if he's relaxing. John Shulman, head coach of the UAH Chargers, joining us, talking camp, and Josh Majette.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
We are working with a clean slate now. I haven't picked up anything new accident-wise. No stalls or traffic signal headaches. You be careful on that ride in. Got a lot of folks in last-minute dash mode this morning. Do your methods to lose weight no longer work for you? Odds are your hormones are the problem. Find out with a free quiz at 2030huntsville.com. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
While the Trash Pandas are away, take in a night under the stars at Toyota Field and join us for on-field movie night. Gates open at 5:30 this Friday as we show Raya and the Last Dragon on our high-definition video board. Tickets are $10 per person in advance or $15 at the gate, and kids 2 and under are free. Get your tickets now at TrashPandasBaseball.com. Trash Pandas Baseball. Ignite the season.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Isn't the story of the prodigal son an amazing story? Basically, a rowdy boy who literally wished his father dead, ran away, and consumed his wealth with hard and fast living. Yet the father looked for his return every day, and when the boy got tired of eating pig slop, he decided to return. What did the father do? As soon as he saw that boy, he ran to him, threw his arms around him, and killed the fatted calf for a great celebration. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of the Cross Point Church. If you're looking for a church home, come see us, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed precision overhead garage door service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked the reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision overhead garage door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision overhead garage door service. Call 256-400-4500.
From the WZDX Pinpoint Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A fair mix of sunshine and cloud cover for your Thursday, and isolated showers going to be possible, but I'm pretty confident most of us probably going to end up staying dry. It's not going to be a bad day. It's just going to be a humid afternoon across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. A couple of isolated locations could actually see the lower 90s. Better opportunities for rain creep back into the Tennessee Valley by the time we get to Friday and the weekend. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Paul Feinbaum. Listen to me coming up today at 2. Now back to Talking Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
All right, it's 8:25 on this Thursday morning. Welcome back to Talking Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. It's summertime. You're supposed to get a little bit of relaxation in, kind of unwind just a little bit. Great time if you're a basketball coach to, number one, get on the road. We saw a lot of these AAU tournaments, a lot of these play dates, a chance for coaches to kind of get on out, see some kids. Number two, you get to host your own camps. And for the UAH Chargers, they have had some elite camps come in. They've had some youth camps come in. I guess maybe this may keep our next guest a little bit flowing a little bit, maybe keep the juices going a little bit during the summer.
Yeah, I mean, certainly. We love our next guest. He's headed in to his third season, and he's had 2 great ones already, winning a Gulf South Conference tournament title. Then, of course, taking his team to the NCAA tournament this past year, even with a limited schedule that they had to play and deal with. It was a lot of resiliency. A special senior class has moved on, one of the best in Charger history. But our next guest has got 2 camps coming up. Of course, this next week, he's got a youth camp for 2nd through 8th graders. Both boys and girls can come to this camp, this UAH Charger camp. And he's got a couple of dates for elite camps in August, I believe the August 8th and the 15th. And who better to help us with that than John Shulman, who's with us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Coach, how's your summer going? You're Drew and Scott.
Oh, just easy. Just been relaxing, laying back by the pool. No, I'm just kidding. It has been, tell you the truth, for basketball coaches, the summer is actually crazier than the regular season. Because you've got camps and you've got recruiting and you've got to deal with scheduling and you got to deal with getting guys in school and making sure the schedules are right, and then you've got to finish your schedule. So it's doing all the things that maybe, we all get in coaching to coach, and in the summertime you really don't get to coach a whole lot, a little bit at your camp, but a lot of recruiting, a lot of time on the road, and a lot of craziness, and like the school year brings stability, and we like that.
Well, Coach, UAH has been in the headlines the last week or so. Good news. I mean, good headlines. A trio of Chargers getting a chance now to play professional basketball.
Well, I mean, we're all watching the head Charger of them all, Josh the Jet.
Yes.
I was talking to David Ivey yesterday, and it's a Disney movie, just to be honest, and we're living it. And he's the star. I texted Josh the other day. I said, "You're in your own Disney movie at this moment, so enjoy what you're doing." But he gave everybody a chance and some hope. And if you know Josh, he's a 6-foot guy that looks like he should be selling popcorn at the Trash Panda game, and now he's getting an assist from Kevin Love and playing for the Olympic team. And he's had 2 stints in the NBA, and this will just kind of boost his resume, this past couple of weeks. But what he's done is given guys like JJ and Sam and Seth Suave hope that they can do the same thing, and now they've taken the ball and they're running with it.
Yeah, they really are. It's just amazing what he's done and the barriers he continues to break down, making the NBA from UAH, putting on the red, white, and blue, the U.S. Uniform. And so there's really nothing that he hasn't done so far, Coach. I mean, except for, I guess, maybe be playing in the NBA Finals right now. But he's done so much to help the brand of UAH stay prominent.
Well, and he's also, what's amazing about Josh is he comes back and he's a normal guy, and he will be in the gym. We had camp in June. And he's in the gym. I show up about 7:45 to get ready for the day of camp, and he's got Sutton Smith in there, who is a rising freshman, entering freshman here at UAH. He's got him in the gym at 7 o'clock in the morning. They're working out together.
Great stuff.
And I didn't set that up, but Josh set that up with Sutton. And for him to come back and invest in these young kids is pretty special. And that means he wants UAH to stay on top of the GSC. And I'm just going to tell you that the guy's a special guy. But like I said, he gives everybody hope that if you put enough work and time and effort into it, that maybe you too can have that dream. And so that's why when Sam Orr gets the opportunity to sign a contract in Austria, and JJ the same thing in Israel, and Seth just signed with an agent, he's getting ready to go overseas with another crew to play on a tour. It gives those guys hope, and they look up to him. And like I said, he invests in those guys. So that's kind of the UAH way.
Well, Coach, you mentioned one of the new guys this year. It will be a bunch of new guys that we're going to have to kind of get used to when you guys open up practice. I believe we talk about football being close, but the start of the basketball season is not too far away.
Well, it's crazy, Scott. We can actually start on the court August the 23rd.
Wow.
So we can start our 4-hour workouts on August 23rd. So we're allowed 4 hours on the court and 4 hours really in the weight room for the first couple weeks. And then October 15th, we start officially October 15th, and that's when our 20-hour week starts. But we're ready. I mean, listen, it's a year-round. Playing college sports is a year-round deal. And, we have a bunch of new guys, and most of the time our old guys are already here working out over the summer. Everybody's kind of spread out this summer and working out. I'm a little stressed out about it that everybody's not here, but we survived in a COVID year, so I think we can survive in a normal year. But everybody's doing their part. We do have some guys here, and they're playing a lot of pickup and getting in the gym and working out. But we just got to, our young guys, we have 11 freshmen in our program next year.
Wow.
11. And so that's how that's been, that Lenny Acuff did a wonderful job building this program with a bunch of young kids. So we're not going to change, and we're not changing the recipe, and we just got a little bit of a different ingredient coming in, and we're excited. We may have some growing pains, but it's going to be a lot of fun because we got a bunch of talented young kids coming in.
Well, and Coach, talk about one of the additions that I think the fans should be excited about. He's a local young man. He was a great talent at Gunnersville High School, and he put up some great numbers at Faulkner, but now he's coming to play for you. Talk about the addition of C.J. Williamson and what, as an experienced guy that's played on the college level and put up numbers, how big is he going to be for you?
Well, I'll tell you this. The first thing we asked kids, many years ago, we would call kids and talk to kids, and we'd say, how many points did you average? And, how many points are you averaging? How many rebounds? Now it's to the point now you're saying, how many games did you win?
And that's our first question: is your AAU team winning? Is your high school team winning? And with CJ, did you win at Faulkner? And he won big. He's just a flat winner. He won. He's a 2-time NAIA All-American. They got, I think, to the Elite 8 this past year at Faulkner, and he was a big part of it. He's just a winner. You ask, CJ says he wants to come, and he's got to jump through a few hoops to get in school, and he's got to hurry up and get this done real quick, and he gets it done real quick. He is the most responsible. He makes us three look like we're children. I'm telling you, he is an adult, and he has done a wonderful job kind of acclimating over here. He's already living in Huntsville. He's actually living with my son, Max, and they're in the gym all the time working out. And CJ's going to be an amazing piece of what we're trying to do the next couple of years.
Coach, I got to ask you, because it's been the hottest topic in college sports, name, image, and likeness. Does it affect you guys at all?
I don't think it's going to affect us. I think it will. I don't know if I'm allowed to say some of the stuff that I'm getting ready to say. My wife is cringing right now, I bet. But I would think that it will clean up college athletics to a point. If I'm at an Alabama or Kentucky, I can get 13 businesses locally to say, hey, I'm going to put in $250,000 a piece, and so each kid will have his own likeness deal and have his own deal, and he can just work for that company for a couple of days and be done with it. I think it's going to be, if we regulate it, it'll be fine. If we don't, it's going to be a mess, because I'm going to be more worried about my likeness and my contracts and doing this and or he's getting a better deal than I'm getting, and I think it's going to be a debacle in one way and clean some things up in another way. But I don't think it will affect us. If a kid can make some money off of a camp maybe here or do something little, but you're talking about, I just heard that SMU had 2 kids flipped to them with football because of the NIL rule, and they stole some kids from the SEC. And SMU's been good at that for many years. I mean, now it's just legal. And so it's going to be kind of the wild, wild west, and but in a legal sense. But I think people are really putting departments together that they can kind of keep a handle on what's going on. But it has opened up a lot of different doors and a lot of craziness for college athletics.
And Coach, I got to ask you, because I know that one of the big strengths of this program has been the coaching staff that you inherited and that have done so much work. But our good friend Anthony Camara is now going to be your associate head coach. But you have a new member of the staff as now Spencer Palmer, a Madison Academy guy, a guy that put on the uniform at UAH and, of course, coached many years, is taking his career in a different direction with Taylor Edge. But talk about the new addition to your staff, Coach.
Well, I would say this. First of all, Anthony Camara being my associate head coach, Anthony came in. When I came in, I wasn't a fantastic Princeton coach. I wanted, some coaches come in and have an ego and say, I'm going to put my stamp on this program. Well, I'm smart enough and old enough to know that that's maybe not the smartest thing in the world to do. And so I really needed Anthony and Spencer Palmer to really be involved and get involved and do a lot of coaching and teaching. And that's what Anthony did. Ant's been fantastic, so he deserved that title. He is ready to be a head coach somewhere. I hope he doesn't boot me out of my job at this moment. He's ready, and he did a fantastic job this past year. But Ezra Pincer, here's my job, because I'm old. I love winning, I love coaching, but I also want to help these young coaches move on if they want to move on to bigger and better things. But, Ezra comes in. He was the GA at Tennessee Tech. I've got a lot of ties at Tennessee Tech. Actually, Blake Gray, who's a Huntsville guy, helped us seal the deal with Ezra. But Ezra comes down. He's got new ideas, different ideas, fantastic in the social media department. I just like bringing in guys with different ideas who can really take a good look at our program and because sometimes you get blinded when you're in the deal. So he's come in with some great ideas, and we're awfully excited to have him.
Coach, now with 11 freshmen on the roster this year, some new faces, do you blend a little bit more of your style in with what we're used to seeing from UAH?
Well, maybe a little bit, but let's don't go crazy. I mean, we've talked about. I think we've got really good, talented young guys coming in, but why mess with something that's worked for so many years? So we will look very similar offensively. We'll look very similar defensively. We'll just be probably a little bigger, maybe in some areas, maybe a little bit more athletic in some areas, but we're just lacking so much experience. I've said this many times, and the best thing, the best skill, and this is the biggest compliment I can give that senior class, is the best skill they had. One, they loved each other and they cared for each other, but the best skill they had is they knew how to win, and it didn't matter if they were playing good, bad. They knew how to win, and if you know how to win, basketball is just a game. If you know how to win on the basketball court, you'll know how to win in life. And so those guys are all winners in life, and because that's what they brought to the table. They worked hard every single day, but we just got to get this new group bonding with the returners that we have. They'll all be in. You're talking about camp. They'll all be in. I think we'll have 13, maybe about 15 of them here next week for camp. And so they'll work camp during the day. They'll play pickup at night, and then they will find a spot on some floor in somebody's house, and they will sleep and bond and hang out and have a blast, and then do it again the next day. So next week, besides being right now we're in the 90s, we're hoping to get over 100 for Charger Day Camp next week. But that's an important week for our basketball players. They all work to camp, and then after camp, they'll all play pickup, and who knows that maybe they'll eat a bunch of Big Daddy plates from Tenders or something that night. But we've got to get them bonded as fast as we possibly can. And if we can get them bonded, we got a chance to be good for many years ahead.
Tenders, huh? Tenders, big plates. I see.
There you go. They're plugging a good sponsor.
And I'm a foodie. I just hadn't found all my food places yet in Huntsville. But after looking at Scott, you and Steve, y'all have done a great job finding a bunch of restaurants because your bodies show it every single day. I didn't say Drew. I did not say Drew. I said Steve and you, Scott.
They are the foodies,
Coach,
especially Scott. We call him Tapeworm for a reason.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, but I will say, Coach, for the listeners, I know you're hoping to get 100+ kids. Talk about this opportunity coming up next week, this day camp that's going to be from the 19th through the 22nd for 2nd through 8th graders.
Listen, we have a blast. I love kids. And I love coaching. I love camp. That's how I grew up, and that's how I started. So I take camp. And remember, I'm a dad, too. So I've set my kids' camp. And I take great pride in not just mailing it in. I take great pride. We do a lot of teaching. We have a lot of fun. It's just not a gotcha camp. We just don't go play knockout for 8 hours. But we're teaching kids how to handle the ball, how to shoot the ball properly, how to pass and cut, how to defend. We have an NBA draft during the middle of it, and we have a blast with that. But along with this camp experience is, hey, man, meet a friend. Do something fun. Be off your phone and off your video games for a week and go have a blast doing something different. Be tired at the end of the night instead of just laying on the couch doing nothing. So it is a great week of camp. We have a blast. They get to know all of our players. Competitions and games, a lot of 3-on-3. I'm a big believer of 3-on-3 because you don't get lost playing the game, playing 5-on-5, especially at the early ages. But so we're excited about next week. We do have 2 elite camps. We already had one earlier this summer, but the elite camps are really kids that are rising 9th through 12th grades, and that we do a lot of recruiting. I would say the majority of our team has come from our elite camps. It's funny. At UAH, you better get guys that want to be here. If they want to be here, they have great success, as Josh Majette has shown. Josh Majette came here really not on a full scholarship. Josh Majette wanted to be at UAH, and I think Coach Acuff wanted to redshirt him, but that went out the door as soon as he saw him, and the rest is history. So who knows? We may find the next UAH Charger at Charger Day Camp next week.
Yeah, you may very well do that. So check that out at UAH Chargers MBB Men's Basketball on Twitter, and of course check them out at UAHChargers.com. And of course check and click on basketball and see what you have to do to be a part of these camps. Either it can create lasting memories for a 2nd through an 8th grader. I have great memories of going to Alabama's basketball camp when I was a youth, and then of course now the elite camp for those that have a chance to develop into prospects that could one day maybe put on the blue and white or blue and black of the UAH Chargers. No doubt about that. Well, Coach, we really appreciate it. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to some UAH basketball very soon.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I just want to make sure Scott's going to be back on the court at halftime with me. Are you doing that again, Scott?
If they'll let me, I'm there.
He's vaccinated. That's all we'll say. That's been a big topic
I'm ready
today.
to go. I'm ready to go.
I tell you one thing, it was great, but the biggest thing is I like being with you because you make me look more attractive, and I appreciate
Wow.
that. And so that's
makes fun of my body and then tells me I'm not attractive.
Hey, man, you know I love you. You got a face for radio.
Wow! Wow! Thanks, Coach.
But you know we appreciate
I
you.
know.
Thank you so much for your time. Take care.
Thanks.
Thank you, Coach.
Coach John Shulman joining us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline.
Definitely has some Diet Mountain Dew.
He's had something. I mean, look. I mean, you know, I do. I miss being there. I want to be there. Let's get a break in. Jeff for the Borough, I know you're holding. We're going to get a break in. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Oh, boy.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
It looks like we're going to wrap up in pretty good shape this morning. Haven't picked up anything new accident-wise. We're looking at bumper-to-bumper traffic, though, with a lot of folks in last-minute dash mode this morning. You be careful as you make that last scramble to get in on time. From routine care to heart failure, Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialists have the expertise to care for all matters of the heart. Doctor visits are important. Please don't put them off. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Listen to the Tom Abraham Show.
And he loves fishing.
I'm going to tweet this out.
I've never seen you fanboy as hard as you did today, so congratulations.
I love this guy.
You kept your composure, but
I know
you fanboyed pretty hard.
I did. Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, I'm not even a little bit not going to say that. I mean, that to me is, that's, broadcasters are a thing for me. That's why.
Listen to the Big Dog, weekdays from 10 to noon on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-386-9945. 800-386-9945. 800-386-9945.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Tom Luganbill here for Woody Anderson Ford. When I was in the Tennessee Valley, one of the things that impressed me the most was the quality of the people. People like Bobby White and his team at Woody Anderson Ford. And now you can experience the tremendous new service lanes and showroom at Woody Anderson Ford at Jordan and Sparkman, or just stop by for breakfast or lunch at Henry's Mustang Cafe. And in Madison, visit Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, just south of 72. Like a great college football tradition, always there. Woody Anderson Ford.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life, more important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Tired of the same old menu options everywhere you go? Then you need to try Metro Diner in Huntsville and Madison. The award-winning Metro Diner serves up signature dishes like their Charleston shrimp and grits, famous fried chicken and waffles with strawberry butter, and lots more. Their entire menu is available anytime, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And stop by for brunch on Saturday or Sunday and enjoy the lowest price mimosas in town. Airport Road, Huntsville, and Highway 72 in Madison. In diner or at home, make it Metro Diner.
This segment of Talkin Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
.49 on a Thursday morning.
It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All right, let's try that again. 8:49 on a Thursday morning. Time for your tomorrow's headlines real fast before we get out to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. He is climbing up the leaderboard, but Louis is still
Theisen.
leading.
I'll never know how to spell it, but I know how to say it.
Is leading at 6 under. Jordan Spieth, Brian Harmon 5 under, Mackenzie Hughes, Dylan Fratelli, and Stuart Sink. They're at 4 under at the 149th Open Championship at Royal St. George's. Got to get to this real fast. The Tennessee Titans are going to add 3 more names to their Ring of Honor.
Nice.
And they are good ones. They are going to add Floyd Reese, Bum Phillips, and Jeff Fisher to the Ring of Honor.
General manager.
Yep. Let's get out to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Jeff from the Borough with us on a Thursday. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, guys. So, Scott, don't tell me you're going to miss the carnival next week. You're going to miss that.
I'm going to miss the what?
To miss the carnival next week. You said you're going to miss something. Or you guys just going to miss something. You're going to miss
Oh, no. I'm not. I'm going to be at SEC Media Days. I'm going to be there.
We're there. We're going to be there, Jeff.
Maybe you said you was going to miss it, couldn't go. I didn't know. Maybe.
No, this is, I got to keep the streak alive. I have been to every SEC Media Days since 1999.
Because it was a pause last year.
Yes, everyone that has been held. I have been there since 1999. I got to keep my streak alive.
Yep. So you didn't go on the Skyriders tour, did you? Huh?
No, I did not get here until 99. 99 was my first year here in Huntsville. I came in from Iowa. I had been to 1 Big Ten Media Days in 98, and then I got here in 99 and did SEC.
So how many consecutive basketball media days have you been to?
I have not been to basketball media days. Unfortunately, falls usually when I was on the TV side. It fell like right in the middle of high school football preps and doing high school football shows and everything. So I did not get to as many high school basketball media days or the SEC media days.
I've got that torch going. I've been to the last few of those.
Well, that's always the excuse for not going. It's in the middle of football season. That's always the excuse.
Well, when you're on the TV side, it's a little bit harder because one, you're doing a lot more stuff. So I mean, call it an excuse.
For basketball media days
want.
lately, Jeff, is they don't let you do radio. We've even discussed trying to do some live stuff down there. They don't allow that.
Yeah, they don't want you to do anything.
I went to one years ago. Probably I don't know, it was early 2000s. A friend of mine called me up one day at the newspaper. It was a couple days before, and he invited me. About 4 or 5 of us went down in the car, and it was near a state. I lived near a state line, and we went down to Birmingham. It was a whole day thing. It was back when they had 12 teams, and this is when Tubby Smith was coaching, and they just had tables set up in the room. I think they had TV too, but they had tables set up, and they would be in a room. And I remember Tubby Smith walked in. He walked in. As soon as he sat down, about 30 microphones in his face, asking questions. Other coaches sitting over there, they might have had 2-3 media members. But then them. So, I think 90% of the media, that thing was Kentucky. Nobody else even cared. So back in the day, but
I actually got to cover Tubby Smith when he was in Tulsa.
Oh yeah, that was before his day.
They came to Northern Iowa. They'd come to Northern Iowa and play when they were in the Missouri Valley Conference, and so
they don't care much now. It's one day for each one, so they don't care much now either. But we know how much the SEC cares about basketball, and they had that SEC Big 12 challenge. Also, the ACC this year. Did y'all see where they're going to do something with the Big East called the Gabbard game? Did y'all see that?
I did not see that.
Yeah, they're going to do something just like the ACC and Big Ten, but it's with the Big East. It's called the Gabbard games. They named it after the guys down at the Big East, and it's going to be at the right time of year, November, December, instead of this end of January business, where Kentucky's got to go to Kansas, where they ain't won since '84. But hang in there, guys. Have a good week. See you.
Yeah, he's calling it the Big East and the Big Ten. It's going to be the matchups for the Gabbard tip-off games. It's the Big East and the Big Ten. Providence, Wisconsin, Illinois, Marquette, Seton Hall, Michigan, Creighton, Nebraska, Michigan State, Butler, St. John's, Indiana, Ohio State, Xavier, and Rutgers, DePaul. Mm-hmm. So, you know what? Jeff's not a fan of the fact that the SEC and the Big 12 play in the middle of January. Get over it. It's great. And it helped the SEC and it helped the Big 12 in this past NCAA tournament. I mean, so you might as well get over it because...
I mean, I understand people sometimes want to see them play early, but I think it also gives you a chance to take a break from the SEC play.
Yeah.
And then you get a measuring stick going into the, a month and a half out of the tournament where you where you stand with someone that you could, of that ilk that you could see in the NCAA tournament.
Didn't Kentucky lose this past year? Did Kentucky lose?
They didn't play.
They didn't play.
Canceled because of COVID.
Oh, well, that's probably why he's angry still.
Yeah.
On this day, July 14th, 1986, I was, I know I got this because I used to get this in the mail all the time.
Right.
Sports Illustrated, on the copy of Sports Illustrated, July 14th, 1986, bold move, Bo. Why Bo Jackson chose baseball over football. That was the cover issue of Sports Illustrated on this day, July 14th, 1986. I'm sure a lot of our listeners probably had that Sports Illustrated coming to their house at that time.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think there's no question that I used to always look forward to the college football and NFL previews. It was one of my favorite issues. Of course, things have gone away from magazines in a way. So much has gone digital and social media, and then reading it. It's almost like breaking news, and you read so much online now that it's kind of really affected the magazine industry. But still, those are issues that I used to definitely, look forward to. We haven't really talked about it either. Auburn lost a football commitment yesterday from their backyard. Jarrell Stinson, longtime commitment from Opelika High School, a defensive back. He has reopened his recruitment, saying that, because of the coaching change, after talking to those close to him, he just felt like he needed to take a step back. I think Gus Malzahn and UCF, the Florida Gators and Dan Mullen, James Franklin and Penn State are schools that he's got under consideration. So we'll see. But Auburn losing Jarrell Stinson. And it's just really interesting because I have been a little bit perplexed that Auburn doesn't seem to be on a lot of kids' lists in state. And right now, if you look at the 24/7 Sports state rankings, they don't look like they're going to sign one of the top 10. Now, the 11th rated prospect, Caden Story, the brother of Christian Story, who plays for Alabama, I think is a heavy Auburn lean from Lynette. But if you look at like the top 25, Scott, it looks like Auburn may only sign 3 or 4 of those.
Well, that was the biggest question with Brian Harsin. Mm-hmm. There was 2 big question marks with Brian Harsin making that move from Boise State. One, could he adjust to playing in the SEC? Could he bring that style that made him successful at Boise State to Auburn? And 2, could he recruit in the SEC? Because, and Josh Heupel is kind of having to answer that same question. Shane Beamer is going to have to answer that same question. It's not easy to go, it's easy if you're Auburn to probably go out and get, or a Tennessee to go out and get a bunch of 3 stars and a couple 4 stars and try to make that work because that is what you're used to being able to get. But in the SEC, you've got to be able to recruit the 5 stars. You've got to be able to recruit the top 25, the top 50, and get those guys in there. And can Brian Harsin constantly and over a stretch of time bring in those Power Fives to Auburn? Can he do that? That's a question mark for Brian Harsin.
It is going into year one, no doubt, but we appreciate John Shulman. What a conversation that was.
He did send me a text and says he loves me. He
and Scott, the two foodies. He now knows Scott's nickname, the tapeworm. But we look forward to that, and we really appreciate Bill Shanks talking some Braves and our callers. Everybody have a great rest of your day. The Czar, 10 to noon, and then Stephen West tonight live from Baum Howard's Victory Grill.
Kofi Cockburn, Kentucky, Florida State, Illinois, his top 3.
The Saddle Up for St. Jude Trail Ride and Concert is this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And the 25th year is going to be the biggest ever. This Thursday night at 8:30, Shenandoah. This Friday night at 8:30, T. Graham Brown.